Thank you so much, Ellen, and thank you everybody for having me tonight to speak to you on behalf of the Holy Family Hospital. I'm honored as the hospital holds a special significance for me as a member of the order and as a neonatologist. Like Ellen had mentioned, since 2014, I've had the privilege of going to Bethlehem as one of the number of doctors from abroad who volunteer their time teaching as visiting professors, traveling most recently this past January. Each visit has drawn me closer to the vocation and spirituality of our order. As you all know, in the 11th century, the Order of Malta began just steps from the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, where our founder, Blessed Gerard, built our first hospital, taking in the poor and the sick regardless of race and religion. It was there that our name and our vocation as hospitalers was born. And today, 900 years later, at the Holy Family Hospital in Bethlehem, the order continues its presence in the place of our Savior's birth and our founder's work, carrying out that vocation of caring for the sick, the poorest, and the most vulnerable. To illustrate for you tonight the work of the Holy Family, I thought I'd share with you the story of one of the many women our hospital has helped, Hadil and her baby Jude, one of the smallest newborns to be saved at the Holy Family. A few years ago, Hadil, at 18 years old, married Jude's father, Ramsey, despite the opposition of her family. They opposed the marriage because they feared Ramsey's previous treatment for leukemia may have left him infertile, and they worried that Hadil would never have the children of which she had always dreamed. So there was great joy when Hadil became pregnant. But only 2 months later, Ramsey's leukemia reappeared, and receiving special permission to be treated in West Jerusalem, he was separated from his wife for long periods of time, including that night when Hadil, alone, arrived at the doors of the Holy Family, only 24 weeks pregnant and in labor. She had traveled a mere 9 miles from her village, but without a car and using buses, the journey took her almost 2 hours. She had gone first to the government hospital, but the doctors there turned her away because for them this was essentially a miscarriage. She was alone, her husband in a hospital across the border, tired from having traveled for hours and scared for the little life she had hoped for so deeply and that she was just told she was going to lose. Women like Hadil arrive at the Holy Family every day. They come because other hospitals are unclean or unsafe. They come because they are turned away elsewhere because they cannot pay. Or they come because, like Hadil, they are told by other hospitals that they are unable to save a baby that premature. At Holy Family Hospital, Jude was born at 520 grams, lighter than a bottle of water, at exactly 24 weeks gestation. Had he been born elsewhere, he'd have never made it out of the delivery room. At Holy Family, he was taken to the NICU where doctors inserted tiny catheters to give him fluids and nutrition. He spent the first 3 weeks of his life on a ventilator. For months, he was kept in an incubator, keeping him warm while he grew. He received special nutrition by IV until his intestines were mature enough for milk, and then fed by tube until he could feed by mouth. He got x-rays and ultrasounds of his heart, numerous blood tests, and antibiotics to fight infections. Had he been born elsewhere, he'd have had few or none of these, and not a chance at survival. Finally, when he was big and healthy enough, he went home. Today, thanks to the Holy Family, they are a healthy and happy family. This is the work of the Holy Family, saving vulnerable lives in a region where they might otherwise be given up for lost, caring for women who have nowhere else to turn. In Palestine, the situation for pregnant women is more than difficult. There are barriers to high-quality maternal and neonatal care other than the physical wall separating them from West Jerusalem. Unemployment reaches 70% in the district. 100,000 women live in refugee camps. There is no social welfare, no health insurance. Many women cannot pay for care or even to travel. As a result, many give birth in less than adequate conditions. The Holy Family offers them a place to turn to. 45% of the women who deliver at the hospital are from the refugee camps. Most of the Bedouin population in the region, among the poorest of people, come as well. And no one is ever turned away because they cannot pay. The Holy Family's state-of-the-art NICU is the only place in the region where premature babies as young as 24 weeks are able to receive the intensive care they need to survive, care that is comparable to that given in the United States. At other hospitals in the region, mothers are simply turned away if they are in labor that early, and their babies considered miscarriages. On the first day of my most recent visit, I joined our doctors for rounds and was impressed by the life-saving care that they gave to a preemie newborn with pulmonary hypertension, who seemed to be on death's door. They delivered the same care we would give in any high-level NICU in the West. Within days, the doctors of the Holy Family had stabilized the baby and had set it on the road to do well and thrive. Today, I'm told she is doing just that. At other hospitals in the region, she'd have been given up on as hopeless. Whenever I visit, the NICU's 18 beds are always full. Half of the babies usually on some sort of respiratory support. Most are not Christian, which brings to mind the words of the late Cardinal Hickey. We help the needy not because they are Catholic, but because we are Catholic. Regardless of their faith, all the mothers that deliver there are proud to go home with their babies, wrapped in a blanket and wearing a knit hat emblazoned with the cross of the order. It is a point of pride because by showing they delivered at the Holy Family, they are saying that they gave their baby the best. At the Holy Family, where Christians and Muslims work side by side, taking care of patients of both faiths, interreligious harmony is nurtured. In addition, by providing a place for Christian Palestinians to work, the hospital helps to maintain their presence in the Holy Land, maintaining a multi-faith community. The hospital is a shining example of people of different faiths living in peace and mutual respect. It is also a beacon from which the Catholic ethos of respect for life is spread throughout the region. As of now, some 70 pediatricians and OBGYNs who have received their training at the Holy Family have carried that ethos to their communities throughout the country. Serving life, especially the most vulnerable, is the core of our shared vocation as hospitalers and as Christians. Some of us have the privilege of living that vocation through our professions in medicine or nursing, but the body has many parts. And no matter our part, all of us are called to live that hospitaler vocation, spiritually, materially, and through our own talents and skills. But the body has many parts is true for the church and the order, and it is especially true for how we care for the smallest at the Holy Family. Care of the micro-preemie involves not just a team of doctors and nurses, but also nutritionists, pharmacists, x-ray techs, social workers, and numerous other support staff working as one body. It requires high-tech equipment, expensive supplies, medications, clean floors, well-fed staff, working computers, adequate facilities, ambulances, and many more material needs. Without the donations that support all of these many parts, the hands, the doctors and nurses, would be unable to carry out their healing vocation. Without all the parts together, these mothers would be left like our Blessed Mother, knocking at doors unable to welcome them. Finally, some comments on how COVID has affected the situation. The pandemic has hit the Bethlehem region especially hard, with 10,000 cases this past July alone. Without pilgrims visiting the region, the local economy has been devastated. Most of the patients coming through no longer have the means to pay any hospital bills, and yet the hospital remains open to all. Despite the hardships, our dedicated staff has been working nonstop to care for those in need, and thanks to the most stringent safety protocols, only 3 staff members have tested positive to date. The NICU remains open and busier than ever, with many staff working longer and extra shifts while others have been quarantined, taking care of a greater number of premature births, cardiac and other congenital defects, and other sick newborns, in part because of the prenatal care that had been missed over the preceding months. With a greater number of charity cases and the need for more and more costlier supplies during this pandemic, financial help is needed more than ever for equipment, to pay salaries, and to ensure that the families that have no income, nearly all of them now, are taken care of through our Poor Case Fund. Your support will help the hospital continue its mission through this crisis and beyond, opening its doors to families like the original Holy Family 2,000 years ago, turned away everywhere else and in desperate search for hospitality. Your support helps save the lives of the most vulnerable in a place where they might otherwise be lost. And your support helps promote peace among peoples in a place where the Prince of Peace was born. Thank you.